After some technical difficulties, I'm back in San Diego here and online with Tineke Rensen in Netherlands. Where are you? In Rotterdam or The Hague?
I'm living closer to Rotterdam than The Hague. So
I
it's
see.
like I think it's 5K to Rotterdam and it's about 20 to The Hague.
Yeah, cool. All right. So I'm going to sit back here and welcome you to Global TV Talk Show again. It's been a while. I read with kind interest and intrigue your uh, Christmas letter that you sent out today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about any of that or talk about Bali?
Um, both. Because it was a deliberate choice to send that email, and yeah, thank you for your response. And it was quite an honest and behind the scenes and email with things I haven't been sharing in the open to people yet. Um, so yeah, what do you want to know about it?
Autism.
Autism, yeah.
What? I, I I don't know what it is. I've heard of it, that's for sure.
Mm,
But I wouldn't know that you were afflicted by anything.
exactly. Most people don't notice it. And that is the sentence where I wrote, but I've been hiding a lot in within myself, so it has cost. Since I'm 18 and mingling more, I was moving away from my parents, living in the big city, studying sports, which is it's an education where people touch each other a lot during sports and when and teaching sport, and we were all living together, we were eating together, we were sporting together. So for me it was pretty strange experience. I wasn't used to that kind of behavior, and there I started to notice that I felt different. I always felt a bit off, but I never told anyone, and I'm a quick learner, and that's one of the big advantages of people with autism. They see something once and they can do it. And for women, often the social things, because autism is described as a social awkward behavior, but for most women you don't see it because they are more social beings. They have more skills to be social. So I was not aware, but I think people were not aware either. But until I have always felt insecure. I have always seen that I behave different. I do things differently, that there were things I could not unlearn, even how much I tried. Um, but it became more in the open when both my children got diagnosed.
Ah,
Uh, and with the first one, I thought, yeah, quite a few traits I have as well, but those are not the traits I want to talk about because they're my shadow traits, and I'm working on them. Then my other daughter got diagnosed as well, and there were quite a few things that she labeled as autism, and I thought, yeah, but hey, I have that too. Is that so bad? And I talked to the people who did the diagnosis, and they said, yeah, and I said, but this is normal. It was normal for me, and I thought it was normal for everybody. And they said, no, 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 it's not normal for me, and it's not normal for me. And I was like, so then I started thinking like, and I was 56 or 57 when this was going on. So I thought, if both my kids have behavior that are autistic and I have both of those traits, let's just do the diagnose. And I did, and I was extremely relieved when they did diagnose me, because a lot of things fell into place. I could see where my weakness would come from, and I could also see how much of autism traits I already had overcome, because I'm a vicious learner, and I always work on improving myself, but probably because of the fact I didn't want to be off. So that's a trait now. But I could also see now why I'm more special, and everybody is special, but why autism is not so bad, because I see things and connect dots that other people don't. They don't see them because I memorize so much. When I hear something from years ago, I can connect it with something that we're talking about now. And then all of a sudden, I can see the big spectrum. And so I've noticed a lot that I'm an early adapter with things and technologies and strategies. And then I thought, why are people not seeing this? And then, I gave up because uh, I seemed to be the only one. But now I can see that is a trait, and now I'm starting to use it. So yeah, people always have an idea with autism that they are social awkward people. That's not always the case. And that they're inward and not looking and talking weird. That's also not always the case, especially not for women. So yeah,
So you
that's the
embraced
story.
all of this
Yeah,
proactively, and
yeah,
that
I'm
in,
glad.
that enabled discussions with your kids.
Yeah, um, it has. But the thing with one of my kids is that no, I'm not going to talk about my kids personally. I don't think that's nice to do. I keep that private. But yes, it has, and there is more understanding. Um, but there's also a thing with autism that that's not always the strong suit of people with autism, understanding other people, emphasizing with other people, or even changing behavior. So yeah, there is a lot more understanding, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to the male traits and feminine traits and
Mm.
how all of that fits together.
Yeah, this is also something that I started seeing, and at the time when I started seeing the things, I was like, why is nobody seeing these things? But now I'm talking about it in the open, and there's a whole lot of people who can see that how we live in a masculine world unintentionally. It just happened. Well, intentionally at the time, by we all now adopt to it intentionally at the time, in my perspective, because women were better in the social things, men were better in the hunting and the stuff, and the hunting became jobs. And the providing of food became providing of money in the family, and women stayed doing the same. They took after the kids until oh, and in the Middle Ages, the special traits of women, the clairvoyance, the psychic abilities such as seeing, feeling, hearing things that other people don't, connection with nature, they were considered as not being religious. So the religions really, really suppressed femininity. So that's when witches became bad. That's when they were burned at the stake. So feminine behavior has always been suppressed and being seen as less, because we bring in the money at the masculine, and that's why the economic is there. But it's always been, you need both. You need the money and you need someone who looks after the kids. Now that's all confused. It's good for women. It's more difficult for men, although many men start to realize that they need to work on feminine traits. A lot of women, unfortunately, unconsciously work automatically on masculine traits because otherwise they cannot succeed in business or as leaders in the corporate environment, because that's still all very masculine. And it's changing. It's changing. But eventually, I hope we're going to a more balanced society where not femininity is ruling and not masculine is ruling, where it's harmonized within men and women, because eventually that's what I think is best. And in relationships, I really feel we should go back to traditional masculine, traditional feminine, and I was just having a discussion online with people in Bali about this. Women tend to start overpowering their men in relationships because they lead in their jobs, and that is not how a man can be at his strong thing. So what they start to do is start to try to control, start to manipulate, start to overpower, and that's when fights start, and that's when the both energies clash. And I feel we should go back to men stepping up in their true masculine, confident, strong, powerful, leading the way, and to strong feminine women being also powerful, but in a gentle way, and letting them being led by a man, because that can give security. I don't want to lead in my relationship. I want to feel safe. And I allow my future husband, because I'm single, to provide that space, because I don't want to take all that in the relationship as well. I already do that in my business, and that's enough. I used to make that mistake as well. I'm yeah, many relationships with the successful women don't work anymore. And then women tend to think, yeah, but he's not a man and he's not stepping up. But we don't allow them to in the relationship. Many of us don't allow men to step up in our relationship. And it's not being done always in the correct way, where the man is providing security and is providing leadership and is providing a safe space. We're all lost at the moment, I think. I'm dating a lot, and it's not easy to find a strong masculine man who is not ruined by women who have tried to control them. They don't want to be in a relationship anymore because they say, I don't want to be controlled. I don't want to have all the drama. And I think, you've met the wrong woman. But yeah, unfortunately, that's where we are at the moment. I think we need to shift a lot and see a lot.
Well, I understand totally. And and um, so my Joanne and I have been together 27 years. We're not
Yeah.
married. We've each been married before, more than once, and for whatever the reasons, won't get into all that. It didn't work for either of us,
Yeah.
and then we came together when I was middle-aged, just over 50, and so that's a long time ago now. But and we've been blessed with good health and a lot of energy and friction for sure at times, and yet we're working it out, just like what I think you've discovered. It's taken me a lifetime to figure it out. But
But it takes guts, and it takes vulnerability for a man to own the leadership, because he should stop. You should be able to stop a woman, and that takes guts. You need to be strong to be able to do that. And we all believe nowadays we should be equal. We are not equal. We look different, we behave different, we have different energies, but we should use each other's strengths and combine that. And so for me, if I would be in a relationship and he knows what I like and what I love, I don't need to discuss where we're going for dinner. I don't even need to discuss what I want to eat. If he knows, be my guest, order, take that burden off me. I don't need to look at the list if you know what I like. But we're used to be so looking for consensus and harmony, and yeah, especially consensus, and that kills, in my opinion, the strong masculine. The man is not allowed to be that leader anymore in a relationship.
well, so the role of discussion,
Yeah.
which could be awkward, at least at first, but I'll tell you what I've learned, trial and error, frankly, is that we learn to um, step back from cutting. Not all the time, though, frankly, but when I remember, um, I avoid the trap of being sucked into a fight, and
Mhm.
just by stepping aside, dodging the bullet or coming up with a language, a choice of words to reduce tension at that flashpoint.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely works. It also, though, takes introspection when you feel that you're getting angry with someone. Like, hey, what's triggering me? Why do I feel not being seen, not being heard? Why? That's underneath. Why do I feel angry? Why do I feel this? There's always triggers underneath, and I think it takes guts from both in a conversation uh to start going to those deeper layers. Why do I feel the urge to now respond this way, the way I do? But that's difficult because it's automated behavior. And until you know what's underneath, what's triggering you, and if you work on that, that's when you don't need to avoid traps anymore. Then you can be vulnerable, and
Hmm.
you won't be hurt, at least not deliberately.
So this is really interesting conversation. I didn't know we were going to talk about all this, but I'm
No,
glad
me
we
neither.
did.
But that's beautiful because this is feminine. We're following the flow, We're in the moment, we're aware, we're both in tuned, and we're having a beautiful conversation. That's total there's no control either way, and that's totally feminine.
So the idea of equal rights, equal is what you're saying, doesn't need to be. It more should be harmony rights or
Well,
methods.
uh, rights should be there because women are don't they still don't get equal payment. They still have the burden of society believing that they can't work as easy because they have kids, or that they need to work part-time because they have kids. So there's still a lot of crap that society faces and believes that we all have, and therefore, yeah, we should have equal rights, but we cannot expect to do the same things at the same level because we why would I want to have the same right as a painter? If a friend of mine wants to be a painter, fine, but I don't care. If he's not afraid to climb up the ladder. Now, typically I'm not afraid because I used to climb, but most, why do we want to be equal at everything? I don't think that's how we should be.
Right. Right. I
But
agree.
anyway, let's talk about Bali.
Yeah, Bali is going to be a retreat. It's only for women, right?
At the moment, this is my first retreat. Yes, it will only be for business women. And as you read in my email, behind the scenes, I've been working a lot on my psychic abilities. I've always had them. I never mixed them with my business. I always thought business is something else and this is my private life. That's autistic, eh? Compartmentalizing. Um, and now I more want to harmonize those two as well, because I think it's important to, when you harmonize masculine and feminine, when there is spirituality in the world amongst people around us, and we don't have to ignore it anymore because it's not scary anymore, eh? That it used to be suppressed by the church because it's pagan behavior or whatever. So it's less the case, and but I want to help women connect, like I've been doing the past years, connecting more to my feminine instead of being the masculine businesswoman and the strong, hard, decisive, go-getter, sports-oriented athlete businesswoman, to go with the flow, like we have our conversation. Um,
Good.
Intuitive, know, trust, allow, create. So you don't have to control everything in a business. That's be are you s- strong, but inner strength enough to not having to know what's going to happen in the next few weeks, which is strange because you will all learn that you have to have a program, you have to have targets, you have to have goals, and you need to have a strategic plan, and you need to have a strategic vision. But that's all the masculine way of how to run a business. And I think if you combine the two, that's how women at least can be more successful. But I'm pretty sure for men it's the same. If they connect more to the feminine, because we are all born with intuitive and psychic abilities, but society unlearns it in a very early age.
Okay, so let's talk about say teenage girls.
Yeah,
Is that in your future to become an instructor to that age group?
I don't know. I don't know.
Because that's really a formative time. Uh, I it,
I did this with my kids, and when they were teenagers, they did not align with my concepts of how children and girls were still being pushed into the narratives and how they were suppressed. Girls, they did not believe me. Now they both see it. Now they both are around our 20s, and now they agree, but they did not believe me. They
mm,
didn't see it. They thought everything was possible and we were all equal. Yeah, in theory we are all equal, but in the world we still aren't. And there's many places where it's very obvious, where women are being suppressed. But even in Western countries, it's not always deliberately, though. There's a lot of subconscious bias.
it's fascinating. So let's talk about your comments about water therapy.
Yeah,
Like I just took a hot shower and it's terrific,
yeah.
and made me feel much better than the moments before that. And yeah, I mean, I'm feeling clean, ready for the day and all that. But uh,
Do you hear my
you,
cat?
no, no.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
But let me ask you about the water therapy idea. So that's not feminine or male. It's just people.
Yeah, yeah. So just as I was this is interesting. She must have sensed my energy because I was going to step up and remove my cat because she wants to mate. So she's not very pleasant at the moment. She's being very loud. So I wanted to put her away, but she walked. That's interesting. She must have sensed my energy. Um, so yeah, when you have water is highly intelligent. It's highly intelligent matter. It has a memory. It has a conscious.
I
Not
didn't
many.
know.
No, and no, neither did I. But I can okay, so for the people who want to research, Masaru Emoto, he's a Japanese guy. He studied how water how you can talk to water and how it changes, how the energy changes of water.
Wow.
And when you water plants with that, how plants have different growth phases. And if you talk bad to the water, the plants decline. If you talk neutral, it stays okay. If you really talk beautiful to the water and say beautiful things, the plants grow really nice. It also has a memory water. And that's where the homeopathy medicine comes from. You put herbs in the water, you stir it, you take the herbs out. The memory of the herbs are still in the water, and the vibration of the herbs are still in the water, and this cures people. even though normal medicine doesn't want to allow it and accept it in many countries, but it's been proven in alternative ways. Now, water also carries information or energy on a long distance. And I knew this because I'm a whitewater kayaker. I've learned I should not be on the water as soon as it starts lightning, because lightning can strike into the water or strike into the water miles away, and it can electrocute me. So I was in Mexico and I was seeing that coral where I used to see it 30 years ago. And I was sad, like, oh my God, what happens? And I thought, okay, if water can carry energy and a thought is energy, can it carry my thoughts to the coral? And that I asked the coral to, because nature has a self restoring capacity, it can restore itself if we allow it time. And if we don't start changing the environment all the time, it will always restore itself. It has that capacity. Our bodies have the same, but we don't know that anymore. Um, so I was talking to the coral, and then I thought, but hold on, if water can transfer energy, it may also transfer my Reiki energy. I'm a Reiki practitioner. So I started holding out my hands, and I immediately felt lots and lots of energy flowing out. And when I was young and I worked in Mexico as a tour guide, there were so many fish. Now there were hardly any fish, but in no moment I was covered. There were fish all around me, and I thought, "What's going on?" And they came as close, like I was sending energy. They came as close to this to my hands, wild animals. And I thought, "What's going on? They must sense something." But I was like, being rational and this is a coincidence and it's not possible. And I was like, can't be me. I'm nothing special. The low feminine traits that we also have. But then I got curious. So I moved away and I thought, let's do this again in another spot. The same happened. And I did it 3 times. The same happened over and over. And then I knew, with all the knowledge I learned about water through various different channels, I connected the dots and I thought, okay, water can carry healing energy. And I started researching and I came across another person that you should have a look at, Veda Austin. She's from New Zealand. She researches how water freezes. And in the freezing patterns, she can read messages from the water, but also she can read the energy of the water. Spring water crystallizes completely different from tap water. Your cup of tea in the microwave even crystallizes worse than tap water. So she started implanting thoughts into the water before she put it in the freezer, and you could see shapes of the persons or the objects she was thinking about in the crystallized crystals of the water. So I ordered some of these things before. I now want to start doing these similar tests, but then with my energized water. And yesterday I ordered a hot tub. You saw that on LinkedIn, I think. So I'm now going to perfectionize this theory and method where I can heal people when I'm with them in the water, because my energy transfers through water, and we are 70% water. Our body is 70% water. So I assume that I can change the vibration of the water in your body. And if 70% of your body changes, that's quite a lot. And my aim is to go back to the self curing possibility of the body. So I put it online yesterday and someone already booked. It's not even arrived yet. It's gonna arrive tomorrow, and it's a hot whirlpool. I put it in my garden. I'm going to test it over Christmas with one of my daughters, and next week she's coming. She had chemotherapy. She wants to transform her business, and my philosophy is, and I'm going to test that with a couple of people, that first I heal their body and give it their self restoring energy, but also heal blockages and mental and emotional garbage and energy. And then we'll just talk like I used to about the business, and we start generating ideas, but that's coming from a whole different place.
So
So
what
it's
about
it, yeah,
spring water? You mentioned briefly spring
yeah,
water as opposed to tap water,
yeah,
or but it's bottled water. But
yeah.
but I use a spring water from a local grocery store, um, much more than the water that comes from the freezer, which is okay. But the spring water has got much more taste and makes much better coffee.
That's beautiful. And it makes sense because it's more energized. Water, when it comes through your tap, it has been cleared, because spring water, not all spring water you can drink. It needs to be tested first, but if it is, you can drink it. So it has been cleared. Chemicals have been added, such as chlorine. Um, but the energy of the water, the original energy of the water, is not there anymore. And the bit that is there is going to be killed by the microwaves, by the electricity in a microwave. So what I do is I have a blue bottle, a glass bottle. I fill it with water. I've been doing this for a year already. I put it outside in the sunshine, and that gives water its original form, its original energy, because water used to be blue, but the blue bottle gives it the blue color, but the sun gives it the energy. And whatever tea or whatever I do with my food and water, I always put a few drops of this blue water inside. But when I drink it coming straight out of the bottle, it tastes completely different than tap water. But it was tap water when it went into the bottle.
Isn't
It's
that interesting? Wow.
remarkable.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, this has really been an education. Thank you.
Yeah, well, if people want to come to Bali, I still have place. I still have spots. It's a beautiful, energetic place. The people are beautiful. The culture is beautiful. So yeah, we'll work on you. I'm testing my abilities. So by the time in March when I do this, it's all perfectionized. And yeah, let's join me and learn. We'll learn from each other, but learn to become a businesswoman who's in balance with masculine, feminine, who's healed, who's powerful, yeah, and who can make the impact she desires.
Tell the audience how they can reach you today.
Okay, so how are you going to promote me? Are you going to put my LinkedIn link with the interview?
Yes, and I
Yeah,
can put
okay.
anything else you
So,
want.
so people can see my name. My name is Tineke Rensen. If you look me up, if you now look very closely how it's spelled, because it's visible, and you type my name. I think there's two people in the world with this name, so it's pretty obvious that you'll find me. I mean, my hair is a bit shorter, but on the LinkedIn image, and then just connect with me, and we'll have a call.
That's great. Thank you so much, and Merry Christmas to you.
Oh, same to you too, Ed. You too. Thank you for having this beautiful conversation.
Yeah, I've learned it, and it's sort of starting my day here. It's early morning, and I feel energy right now.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you.